Podcast with Kini Shandu namhlanje sihambele the city of Umhlathuze. Abantu abaningi bahlezi beyibuza ukuthi what is the city of Umhlathuze? But we'll find out today, and all that information ezosiza siyazi ukuthi kahle kahle masikhuluma ngomhlathuze uhamba ugcinephi, inhlelo ikuphi, umeya uphekwani. Kuthiwa omunye umuntu uyisikhwishikhwisha, omunye kuthiwa hard worker, ngazi ukuthi ublender kanjani. Baba Mashimane, welcome to Podcast with Kini Shandu.
Thank you very much, Mthia, nakubo bonke abalandeli be-podcast yakho.
Siyabonga kakhulu Mashimane, sibonga nanokuthi usinikeze ithuba lokuthi sibe si-online sikwazi ukuthola ithuba lokuhlala nawe. Umuntu obhizi kakhulu esikhathini esiningi njengamanje. I think abantu bakubona on socials, you always there. Uhlaba isoyi ngapha, uhlaba isoyi ngapha. Mhlawumbe ilanga babe besitshela ukuthi ubhizi namasoyi, ubhizi. Ubhizi kakhulu, siyabonga kakhulu Mashimane ukuthi samukele eMhlathuze.
Siyabonga kakhulu Mthia.
Cool. Sizoba nje nama questions ambalwa esokwazi sixoxe ngawe and just trying to find out exactly ukuthi what's happening. Mashimane, ngendlela obhizi ngayo omunye umuntu uyazibuza ukuthi mhlawumbe usebenzise ikhuthazini. Ubuthongo bona usabulala kodwa.
Hayi ikhuthaza ngiyisebenzise kuyalaleka nje kuyakusheshe kuvukeke kuseni.
Oh yeah. Mashimane, ubaba womuzi emzini wakho, ngaphandle kwalokho futhi ubhuti kubantu abaningi abantu ababukela kuwena, and as well as uyingane kwabanye futhi asebekhulile. How do you balance that, especially looking at kunabantu abazoqhamuka impunga ezindalo professor abadala bazothi babungwezi, kube khona futhi mase sifike ekhaya kumele ukhumule leyo cap yokuba umeya ube ubaba engane udlale nezingane uginqike phansi. How do you balance that as a mayor?
Well, isimo is very challenging.
Imagine.
Ikakhulukazi ngoba ngafundiswa ukuhlonipha ikakhulukazi abantu abadala.
Yeah.
Nabantu nje abancane kumina, nabantu in general.
Yes.
So ke into ebesingakayijwayeli kakhulu.
Oh yes.
Ukuthi uyobizwa ngumhlonishwa. Fortunately.
Yeah.
When I got into politics, IFP, and there's a Zulu person nje, into umZulu. Sifundisiwe thina njengamaZulu, amagama doesn't matter kwaZulu. What matters are your surnames and clan names. So umuntu mayisetheke Mashimane hayi ngisuke sengibona ukuthi asengihlonipha kodwa mayisefaka nesikhundla, then usuke sengidefeata ngoba mina ngisuke ngilindele ukuthi njengoba mhlawumbe emdala kumina, and then will relate athi ndodana noma kodwa ke phela kulungele umsebenzi engwenzayo. Nanokuthi ikhundla leze politiki ziyaphela. So ke ayikho nje into that humbles me njengokuthi umuntu angibize ngoba bungwezi. Ukuze namhla sekuphelile aqhubeka kulokho ngoba lokho ke cha ngeke kuphinde lokho kuthathe. And then ekhaya obviously mase ngisekhaya umsebenzi well ngisuke ngizonaka, attending to calls, messages and so on. Kodwa ke angikhohlwa ngokudlala indima kuba ubaba makufanele ngibize ingane ngizitshela ukuthi hayi phela abantu abami akwenziwe ukuthi nokuthi la ekhaya senza kanje. Vele futhi fanele ngenze lokho. Makufanele ngiyokhipha imbuzi mangisekhaya emzini kababa, ufuna ngivulele nje imbuzi ngihambisa. Fanele futhi inkomo amakhizane ufuna ngikwenze lokho. Ngisuke ngiyingane mangisekhaya.
So amarolo wonke waqoka ngendlela efanele. Ayikho lapho uthi hayi baba njengomeya angivumelekile ukuthi ngibonakale ngilandele inkomo ngemva.
Hayi eqinisweni ngizothini uma ngisekhaya well ngiyazi kune security threat lokho ngishoyo. Kodwa mangisekhaya ngibasekhaya angiyithandi idrama yokuhlala ngingongiwe. Ngifuna ukuba sekhaya nje so that ngirelate nabo bonke abantu basekhaya nabangakithi. Kodwa ke phela siyakwenza lokho ngoba basuke besemsebenzini laba basisizayo. Kodwa nje anginayo inkinga psychologically yoku-adjust ukuthi mangihleli nezimpunga ngihlale nje, mangihleli nezinsizwa ngihlale, mangihleli nezingane ngihlale, mangihleli nonkosikazi ngingabi umeya ngibe umyeni wakhe. Ngiyakwazi uku-adjust.
It's been how many? It's 2 years now. As mayor was Umhlathuze, don't correct me if I'm wrong. Le position subam for 2 years.
Yeah, almost.
Almost 2 years.
Ngoba ngakhethwa ngomhla ka 10 December.
Yeah.
So it's 1 year, 9 months.
9 months.
Yeah.
Anjani ama challenges? Because thina sikubonayo buhle, sikubona umeya ehlabiso lapha, sibona umeya efika lapha ezobheka umonakalo, athembise lokho, sibona umeya nangu laphana kubantu ngasonke isikhathi, but ama challenges nje osuku nosuku ohlangana nawo close to 2 years.
Well, ama challenges maningi kakhulu. Ikakhulukazi ama challenges I think affecta mina manje of late psychologically.
Yeah.
Ukuthi when I'm in the office nginama appointments mhlambe awu 15. Ama appointments engisuke ngizohlala nabantu bathi we want to come and invest eMhlathuze. Mhlambe asuke u3 osukwini. The rest are your people coming to say, Mayor, what can you do for me? I've been unemployed for the past 20 years. I'm a graduate. Or ngino matric angikwazi ukufunda. Impilo akwenzeki lutho nje. Asazi nisolela sidlele
Personal
namhlanje.
problems about.
Yeah, these things guys, they are depressing. More than anything ngoba umuntu mayekhuluma ngenhlupheko. Mina inhlupheko ngiyayizwa abantu bengixoxela at some time ngihambe ngiyoyibona mangifika emzini womuntu. So these things they are depressing really to me.
Yeah.
Kodwa ke ngiyathemba nje ukuthi uNkulunkulu is doing wonders really ngoba we have started seeing people who are keen to come and invest in the city. Just 3 weeks ago, I met a group I cannot mention now, but we are in negotiations now. But they've already bought umhlaba from us. They are coming to invest in our city with R1 billion.
What?
A very big mall with 146 shops.
156 shops.
Exactly.
That's a galleria size.
Yeah, a galleria size.
Galleria mall
It's
size.
a regional mall.
Yeah.
It's actually
Yeah.
the site of Uthukela.
Yes.
Ayikho mall enkulu njengaleyo. So that mall is coming with job opportunities were 1,200 after completion of the mall, and 850 to 1,000 during construction. So I'm saying to myself, we must do anything we can do to make this investment possible. Bangasi lahle nje laba bantu fanele senze noma yema kushaya isikhathi sekunama presentations esiwenza kwi council ngoba khona izinto abayiproposile.
Okay.
Kodwa they want to start in April next year.
So maqala in April last year, I mean next year, so we're looking at 800 plus people abangabe bethola amathuba, and then after completion, so we're looking at 1,002 or more that might create ama opportunities abantu base Richards Bay, abantu base Umhlathuze.
Of course. So
That's good.
ngisholo ukuthi ke like I think really God is in control of the situation. Esikhona eMhlathuze, we are beginning to get people being interested to come and invest. And really I think esikukhuluma isikhathi eside sikhona officeini is that we need to come with solutions. In the problems that our people are confronted with. Part of it yearly unemployment.
I see. Wow.
And I know, for instance, currently, ukuthi kune project eqhubekayo ekhona that side of Empangeni again, a very big mall, a Waterstone Mall, and
any mall futhi akusiyo lot ukukhuluma ngayo.
Yes, yeah, that one is above. It's just above nje Sanlam Center and is behind Sanlam Center where there is Empangeni mega housing project. It's a very big mall as well. There are hospitals there, 2 hospitals azokwakhiwa khona. Your tertiary hospital that is bigger than Ngwezi.
Okay.
And also there is a private hospital that is bigger than Garden Clinic. There are 146 RDP houses azokwakhiwa. and the rest is low cost housing and also upmarket housing. Behind the Qala Kabusha.
Oh, bengisayibuza ukuthi le ndawo izokhanda so
yeah, in that area nje ebheke Owens Toll
college
noma kumbe koMabhuyeni usuke uzoyibona leyo ndawo kune infrastructure nje siyifakayo. On the other side sesiqedile ukufaka infrastructure sesekule area manje ezofaka ama upmarket housing sifaka ibulk infrastructure khona yo electrical bulk infrastructure and your roads nama pipe project iyaqhubeka. So I'm saying that there is more, and Mpangeni is going to grow probably ×2 of what it is njengamanje, and izoba nkulu kune Richards Bay.
Why vele Mpangeni ngathi izoba nkulu kune Richards Bay? Because I think i-development eningi seniyiphushele Mpangeni. Is it because of the land issue or seni right la?
Okay, i-Richards Bay mawibuka it was created as an industrial area.
Yeah, your
Alton area inama industries, your port inama industries or force khona ezinye zilapho kulezo indawo lezo. Omonde, you know. So ama residential sites agcina sebamancane because planning was more of ukuthi fanele kube indawo economic activity kakhulu as opposed to residential sites. But also this side of Richards Bay akhona ama developments azayo, if I may talk, I mean north of Richards Bay, which is somewhere around the N2 and Aquadene. There is an Aquadene housing project enama housing units angaphezulu ka-5,000. Siyaqhubeka nokufaka
sizokama N2 state manje.
In fact mawusuka nje uhamba ngalomgwaqo ohamba uzophumela ku N2 udlule Aquadene usuyaqala ukubona umsebenzi esiwenza ngale kune library somewhere there. Uyaqala ukubona sifaka ibulk kuyadevelopa kulungiswa imigwaqo amasettle ukucomplya nama requirements ayifakwe uDOT no human settlement ukuthi le ndawo njengoba uyayomgwaqo u2 lane uma usuzokwenza emgwaqo engenayo noma ephumayo khona you must comply with ama standards athize ahambisana nezinto zakwa built and civil engineering. Yeah, so we're dealing with that now, i project eqhubekayo, and in fact leya project isithatha isikhathi eside kakhulu because
nama inroads okhuluma ngani ade ngawabona lokho ekhona lapho bengibuza kwenzakalani.
Isithatha isikhathi eside kakhulu ngoba fanele ngabe kungenani isukuma njengale yasemhlathuze village ke abayibiza ngedumsani makhaya because zonke za promulgatewa ngesikhathi esifanayo nale engapha by the former mayor uDanny Moffat long before actually the year 2000. But mawubuka ukuthi Mpangeni mega housing is new because in a concept yendaba yama smart cities Mpangeni mega housing iyona esisheshe yasimama kakhulu as opposed to Aquadene housing project. Kodwa ke we are putting all efforts now ukuthi nayo ikwazi ukunyuka ngoba abantu bakithi bakhala kakhulu ngendawo yokuhlala ikakhulukazi in the area of Richards Bay and surroundings ukuthi even if ngathiwa sibakhe izindlu but we must give them at least service sites bakwazi ukuzakhela ngoba exactly. So we are considering that ngoba sesibuye senza ama land exchanges phakathi kwePort, iMandlazini Community Trust kanye neCity of Umhlathuze. Sashintshana ngomhlaba othize, umhlaba obungalanga seAquadene Brackenham around that area obu-ownwa iPort sebewunikeze thina owethu obungalanga sePort sawunikeza bona. Of course thina wethu bunevele enkulu, so they had to add some few millions of rands into our kanjalo netrust futhi ngesikhathi kubuyiselwa nomhlaba itrust yaseMandlazini ibuyisela umhlaba. Omunye umhlaba sawunikeza iNavy, SA Navy is coming this side, and that will boost our investment really and secure our port and the economy of Richards Bay. So we can't wait for the SA Navy to land and start putting one block in the area of Umhlathuze. Baya relocate eThekwini baza ngapha. We are talking about more than 5,000 men and women in blue and white abazobe la besebenza la bekade ulwandle lwethu nomnotho wethu Richards Bay. The port itself is going to expand ×2 of what it is. and that talks to job opportunities and other opportunities asuke ekhona njengoba sidila nezinto ezokuhambisa ama-goods ngolwandle.
Yini mhlawumbe ecabanga ukuthi abantu base-Richards Bay basazoyidinga after this, because I'm looking at ama-developments okhuluma ngawo njengamanje. You're talking about housing, we're talking about malls, we're talking about amanye ama-hospitals as well as abakhona, and the airport as well, which is over, I don't know how many times from what endala lebe bayibizwa ngokuthiwa yiseni i-library. So yini ngempela an expansion of ilokhuzana i-port as well, yini abantu basebhey ucabanga bazobe sayiswela kangaka yini ICC?
Well, yes, indawo yokuhlanganela enkulu. Sinawo ama plans sesawu-identify umhlaba wokuthi kwakhiwe i-ICC. We are in the process now of looking for an investor. Sake saya in the markets, and then unfortunately sangakwazi ukubuya ne-potential investor. We are looking at other ways now ukuthi sikwazi ukuthola ke umuntu abantu abazo-investor, ngoba the idea is somebody must put in investment and then for a certain period of time,
like a lease,
and then emva kwalokho ke akwazi ukuphuma ke mayesekwazi ukubuyisa ifunding yakhe, i-facility then i-own umasipala. Just like the airport sizokwenza kanje, so thatha that route ukuthi sithole a potential investor, sivumelane naye ukuthi you will be here for 50 years or whatever period, and then after that you will have to go out and then we take over. So ICC is going to be around umgwaqo oya ngase-Merency, Premier Hotel, your Bond Hotel areas. Kulo mgwaqo nje lo uJohn Ross ohamba kanjalo izoba kulelo side lokuya ngasolwandle, i-ICC izoba lapho. And then i-airport, as it relocates here, i-feasibility study isitshele ukuthi ngaba ngaku-N2, khona indawo eno-Canfields, yes, kulawo maplazi lawo. We are in the process now of procuring, or rather thinking about how to procure umhlaba, ngoba umhlaba fanele kube wethu. For that project is close to R1 billion, almost 800 to 900 million plus, ukuthi ke yakheke i-port, I mean i-airport ibe ngaphezulu kwalokhu le eyiyo. So lawa khona njengamanje le airport ekhona, you are only able to fly ama bhanoyi alayisha abantu abangedlulile ku-30, probably so abamabili ngosuku. But lena esikhuluma ngayo, you will be able to fly ibhanoyi elayisha abantu aba-100 to 150.
That's good.
So you can see that that airport is going to be ×3 of what this one is. So we are very excited. Abantu bakithi bazobenefita kakhulu masithi mhlambe yini anye bazobe idinga abantu bakithi, really
I don't see anything
bazobe idinga kakhulu more of your tourist destinations. For instance, we are going to be a project elapha ngase beach development ye waterfront, ukuze i-waterfront yethu ithi kufana no-Cape Town noyibona. We went out also in the market ukucheck ukuthi can we get potential investors ukuthi bazo-investa lapha. Unfortunately we couldn't, but we are revising also ukuthi ngakube i-strategy sethu se hunting of potential investors ngampela yiso esiright noma kusona yini.
Maybe ibona abantu abaright abangafiki, because it can happen that you get the wrong people because you are in a desperate mode. But if looking you should I know something simtholile the person that you're looking for, and mhlambe it will be a right time ngaleso sikhathi kube kuhlangana naso. Mashiman, ngifuna ukubuza la umkhandlo wasemhlathuze ukuba sematheni kakhulukazi i-EFF ihlubuka kumshado bekante ninawo, and abantu abaningi bathi ke hayi ke soke sibone kuzokwenzakala. How did that affected you as a man?
Well, let me say that as a person who is entrusted with the responsibility to lead and deliver services, kubantu bakithi kwanga-affecta kakhulu, because i-future of service delivery bengibona ukuthi ungazathi izophazamiseka, ngoba ayikho into mthiya ebaluleke njengokuthi la eMhlathuze i-ANC ngaphathi. That thing is
ayikho into awuqale phansi lo
ayikho into ebaluleke njengokuthi iANC la eMhlathuze ingaphathi ingabikho ekuphathweni kukaHulumeni waseMhlathuze. And I will tell you why. You know, ingqalasizinda eningi efakiwe la eMhlathuze lokhu yafakwa uHulumeni owawubuswa uHulumeni wakwaZulu ngokubambisana nohulumeni labo kwakuhulumeni bamadolobha kwakunohulumeni idolobha lasenseleni kanjalo no Joint Services Board. 1996 kwaqala iprocess ukuthi kube nani nama TLCs. 2000 kwaqala local government osuhlanganisa zonke lezi indawo engikhuluma ngazo. Now ama services amaningi ongazama ukwabala enziwa aphela ngo2007. Kulowo uhulumeni lo kwakunohulumeni iIFP yawuphatha yodwa okokuqala waphela ngo2006. Later after that kwaba nohulumeni wecoalition owawuholwa again uyena uDr Moffat. I-service delivery no-improve kwe-infrastructure kwagcina ngalowo nyaka. Look at what is happening in the Lake Cobu. Leya infrastructure lokhu yafakwa kwakhiwa ilokishi laseSikhaweni. It has never been improved. Kwakuthi lokhu kufaka uhulumeni wakwaZulu no Joint Services Board. Bahlala for 14 years baze bashawa into yokuthi i-production yamanzi eyenziwa kwisihlanzi manzi lesesicobu is not meeting the demand. The demand has grown to 60 million liters a day. Bona they can still produce 34 million liters a day ngosuku. Ngoba abantu bayakhula but infrastructure
all the external
exactly. Baze bashawa ileyo nto. You see ngoba sesibuyileke. We're beginning where we ended in 2007. Ngoba sekubuye iIFP ihola na iDA namanye amaqembu ebambisene nawo. We are improving that infrastructure to try and meet the demand. Kune project nje eqhubekayo ibizwa nge15 megaliter package plant. Okushuthi izo-edda u34 million liters plus 15 which goes to something like 51 or 52 million liters a day. We will still be in short of 8 million liters a day. But capacity would have improved and the demand would have been brought down. Yabona? So uyabona kumuntu owayewumeya wayesesikhaweni. There are so many mayors ababe omeya besuka esikhaweni. They were also part of taking decisions of not improving infrastructure. Nabo bethatha ama-decisions aphuwa. How many councillors have been at esikhaweni?
But I think
ANC councillors.
I think belento ungaphinda usho ukuthi abantu abaningi masebekhethiwe basuka endaweni bezohlala esilungwini. So whatever that was affecting abantu besesikhaweni ama water tanks and everything akayiboni leyo nto leyo because yena usehlala esilungwini akasahlali kubantu after sebemkhethile. But then again you ask the question right now to me indaba ama councillors ukuthi ama councillors wona ke ama ward councillors la sekasekhona enza njani. It's a serious issue mashimane mawuzoyibheka kanjalo ngoba mawungena emkhandlwini uthe ungena emkhandlwini bekunabantu vele ababekade beyideployment yeANC abasekhona la emkhandlwini. The very same people abebekade beshiya izinto wenze njani ukuze ukwazi ukusebenza because ngiyacabanga ukuthi that must be a frustration on its own ukuthi inherit istaff esi against lento ofuna ukuyenza wena.
Okay, let me start entweni yokuthi ama-public representative mayisekhethiwe ayasuka endaweni la isuke ekhethwe khona and then relocate ayohlala kwezinye indawo. There is nothing wrong with that if it is more about investment. But it is wrong uma kuthi kuzokwenzeka at the expense of neglecting abantu whom you represent. So ungaba ne-property wherever, but never forget about people who put you there. La osuku khona ngoba njengoba kuthiwa nje singaba councillors, we are public representatives. We represent the public because ngeke bonke abantu abawu-500,000 baseMhlathuze bazohlala in a council chamber ehlala abantu abawu-67. Therefore they trust us.
One person
ngamandla exactly ukuthi hambani nani yosimela in this council yabantu abawu-67 and fanele ke sibamele ngempela. Okunye ngibona ukuthi cishe uyakuthinta ukuthi you know ngo-1994 mase kuqala uhulumeni wentando yeningi, Dr. Nelson Mandela, may his soul rest in peace, he found staff that had been employed by the apartheid government. Yibona babemfungisa bemkhombisa ukuthi kungapha. Same thing applies here in KwaZulu-Natal. When the IFP took over sekuphele uhulumeni wakwaZulu, it found staff. Just like the ANC in 2004, mayifike ema-ofisini sekuphethe i-ANC winile. Yathola istaff ema-ofisini. Ngamanye amazwi, uhulumeni is an institution. It's not a political party and so on. And of course, it has politics in itself by its design. Now, ama-employees anama-contracts that they sign with government. Remember, umsebenzi wabo ukusiza ama-politicians to deliver services. They are dealing with more of operational things than decision making. Well, akhona ama-decisions athathwa yibona administratively, kodwa futhi in terms of your budget, in terms of your, the strategic direction of the institution, ithathwa ama-politicians. Therefore, ayikho into ebaluleke njengokuthi noma ngabe yiphi institution kahulumeni, abaficwayo bene-contract administratively, benze lokho kushiwo i-contract. They will never go wrong. But of course, mase beqala ukufuna ukwenza okungekho kwi-contract, ngoba akukho kwi-contract ukuthi makufika umeya uNgwezi, fanele ukuthi uma wena umsebenzi wakho ukuvula ama-valve, uvula amanzi, fanele instead ukuthi wavula uyowavala. I-contract ithi umsebenzi wakho kuzobe ukuvula amanzi. So you must go and open water. Then when you close the valves, also,
you're doing the opposite.
You are doing the opposite.
Yes.
And sekufanele ukuthi ke manje administratively, then uthathelwe inyathelo ngoba wenza lokho okungekho kwi-contract yakho. If your job is to clean water in Lake Cube and make sure ukuthi angene emapayipini aye kuma-reservoirs ase-clean, if wena you dirty amanzi ngo-diesel, we must hold you accountable. So I think that is the attitude. I always make an example by myself, and I worked for the Department of Education as a teacher for 9 years. The Department of Education during my time had been governed by the ANC. Under MEC Senzo Mchunu, why MEC then was over premier. Mina ngangifundisa ngaleso sikhathi. Nabanye ke bafikile ke ngagcina sengihambile. I have never said I'm not going to class to teach because of manje i-department iphethwe i-ANC. I've never done that. Look at members of Inkatha who are nurses.
Yes.
They have never boycotted going to emsebenzini ngoba bethi ngeke thina ngoba ulo MEC usimelane is ANC. They've never done that. So this attitude by people in local government and other government spheres to say they must lower the pressure emathayini ukuthi kusevise amathayi bashaye go slow is actually very wrong, because ama-parents abo where they are working kungenzeka ukuthi nabo basebenza under ama-governments amanye amaqembu, but they are not doing that. So it's just myopic tendencies nje ne-application umuntu asuke i-applyela ukuthi mhlawumbe umsebenzi agcine uluza, ngoba njengoba ngisho uma umsebenzi wami mina ngiqashela ukuthi njengomeya ngenze sure ukuthi i-budget is spent on the needs of the people. If I don't do that, I know before abantu kube yibona bathi umeya akasalungiwe, my party will hold me accountable. So nabo they must behave that way. Ne-attitude nje ukuthi abantu kube ngathi mawusebenza kwahulumeni noma usebenza kwamasipala usekuyolalwa ke abantu bangama ulayini benganakiwe. I really don't believe in that.
Ngeke ngabona isithombe kuma socials begraduating ngalo isilelo kwathiwa kuzosebenza kwamasipala kuzosebenza khona kuyolala.
Well, I hope ngeke kusebenza kumasipala waseMhlathuze. Ngaba abanye omasipala not lapha eMhlathuze ngoba indawo yokulala ayikho lapha. Well, asikaze siyenze survey. But I think we'll have to do it. To compare ukuthi how things used to be before we arrived in 2021 and how are things now.
Are you rating ngalo survey ngo 2 years? Usu rating ngalo survey?
I think
maybe another year.
I think we have shown, and we have shown because we have got the public survey.
I see.
We see it must have been as contest and IFP.
Oh yes.
That's the best survey. People are hopeful. But also on the employees, on the side of the employees, it's very important.
Yeah.
Remember, people come from a regime where they were told, but if you don't do 1, 2, 3, and 4,
Yeah.
we'll expel you. You're working under duress. We don't have that now. As I'm saying, stay on your lane.
Yeah.
Don't come to mine. You see, if somebody comes and try to do what I'm supposed to do as the mayor, Pella, I love my job.
Yeah.
I will protect my job. And part of protecting my job is to
get,
deal with you.
Get rid of something that is a threat to my work. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I always say
yeah.
here in this municipality, probably offices of the officials which I know or I have entered in these 2 years, probably they are not above 10. We meet in the meetings, right? Because I want them to do their work without any fear of favor.
Yeah.
They must be committed. They must apply all the laws and so on and so forth. So we come from that era, you know, and it's important also ukuthi abantu osebenza nabo, you know, as a general.
Yeah.
You must understand your army. Don't command an army that is hungry. Don't command an army that is always full of complaints and you don't address the complaints, because one day bazokushaya ngekhulu.
Uhambisa iarmy engajimile uthayephi just hlale lapha sadla besilambile isikhundleni sokuthi Mashiman, there are 2 projects that I'm very much interested in and trying to find out. One, Richards Bay United ikhona njengamanje kwi PSL, what they call now, it's a DSTV. And abantu abaningi befuna ukulibuka ibhola eduzane, sinesifiso esikhulu sokuthi sibuka ama teams esiwathanda. Siyayithanda Richards Bay FC, don't get it twisted, but kunamanye ama teams esifuna isilethele wona siwabone, and sibonile ukuthi stadium wawushila ukuthi sesiya ngasemaphethelweni akulunge sibe kwi standard esifunwa yon DSTV. How long on that project, if you may give us maybe a time frame?
Okay, the revised time frames of the completion of the stadium is end of November.
Okay.
This year. Njengoba nje besingaqalile ukusebenza nani besifumeleni soqala ngo9. You have seen I was in a meeting with the city manager.
Yes.
Because I was reading the Riot Act to him and consulting with him to say, where are we with the stadium? Yes. Where are we with the package plant? Yeah. Which I was talking about, because it must have been delivered at least in December. So I was getting all those updates and many other projects which are very much important. Catalytic project like your ICC were in discussion, you know. So I'm hopeful that we are on track with the stadium, because what we had to do there was not only the fact that we find isilungise ukuvuza kwe-stadium njengoba DSTV ayishiyo. Bekufanele ukuthi stadium sonke uqobo sisenze sibe compliant nama PSL standards, like making sure ukuthi abantu abakhubazekile bakwazi access stadium. So sekunama lift lapha awu2 siwaxhumele ukuthi abantu bakwazi access stadium. Kunama ensuite, kuna capacity si improve from 4,500 to 9,000.
Wow, that's good.
So sekunama grandstands awu2. One on the west and one on the east. So I'm trying to say, abantu, when they come back there in that stadium, they will see a completely different stadium than what they used to know. It's standard so you know, you're parking for VIPs and parking for the public. Zonke lezi zinto seyifakiwe zikhona ziyafakwa. Ukulungiswa kwama boardrooms ngaphakathi, ama boardrooms abengekho, indawo zonompempe bezingekho sezikhona through the new designs. So I'm trying to say really, you know, I think we've done our best. I'm happy with the work eyenziwa lapha, although it has delayed us, but also part of izinto ezenza ama delays ukuthi the construction of the stadium as constructor underground. It's a constructor on top.
Yes.
Now, lokho kwenza ukuthi makwenza ukuthi kunimvula for 1 week. You have that 7 days yokunetha kwemvula, and you need at least 3 to 4 days ukuthi iground ithi ukoma kancane ngoba ngeke besebenze kumanzi. Yeah, so part amanye ama challenges la besibhekene nawo, issues of people needing some opportunities, but we're able to quickly address that. So Yeah, so ama teams must play the stadium bazodlala.
Yeah. So
And
roughly in December, if there is ama games akhona ngo December.
Ama-Salka games nje ezala. It is my wish ukuthi ama-Salka games adlale kulesa stadium. And we are pushing really which stadium kube ukuthi sesi-right, you know. Yeah, so we can't wait for that. It's a very beautiful stadium. So banane roof on top. Izinto lezi zazingekho before, you know. Yeah.
So abantu must look forward to it, and also khona into that ngasonke isikhathi mashimane makhuluma uhleze uyiveza uthando nanendlela yokubhekelela abantu laba esibabiza kuthiwa ama-informal traders, akungabantu abasuke bedayisa emvoqeni kuphi ngoba siyazi ngoba kuze stadium nje ukudla yona ndawo eyiphathi bona bakhona nohlelweni le stadium.
In fact kuma designs nje amasha they are part of lapha ama-informal traders sizoba nama-market stalls I would sizoba sinama market stalls awu-20 lapha as we speak kulama designs amasha. So obviously makushaya isikhathi esifanele abantu bazokwaziswa ukuthi bazohlonzwa kanjani ukuzode ukuthi njalo uma kunama games bahambe bayodayisa lapha ngoba siyaqonda ukuthi ama opportunities kanjalo asuke yakhelwe bona. So it is part of our design set.
Speaking about that as well, enye yindawo lapha bethathe kakhulu khona ulwandle, and sinenkinga manje masibona ulwandle mashimane ngiyakubona ku TV ulikhoma ngalibuka ngathi awuba kwenzakalani kodwa. And wayichaza indaba yakhona ukuthi no kune agreement nayo no Transnet ekuthenini ba maintain ulwandle ngoba ibona abalisebenzisa kakhulu. Ngoba siya ku December nje zithini inhlelo zokuthi olwandle sizokwazi nokubhukuda mashimane?
Sizokwazi ukubhukuda Mthiya. Okwamanje inhlelo zethu zikhomba ukuthi silinda ukuthi belethe umshini lo bawubiza ngedredger.
Okay.
Idredger ke yona abafaka ngayo isihlabathi lapha ya.
I see.
Ngoba what actually has been happening here is that for the past 3 years at least Transnet has not complied with the agreement esinayo nabo. Njengoba besebenzisa lapha ya. Ibona okufanele benze i-dredging. Basilekelele ukumaintain. Yabona. So kodwa ke sikhulumile nabo, we are waiting them ukuthi ke balethe i-dredger. I-dredger enye yethu ise Cape Town. Abayisebenzisayo la ka Transnet bayibolekise Cape Town.
Hawo.
Enye i-dredger ngizokuthiwa ise Mozambique. So we are fighting manje angithi zonke lezi zinto ke they are really under the Ministry of State-owned enterprises.
I see.
Angifuni ukukhuluma kakhulu ngaloko ngaze kuthiwe sengingenela la engafiki khona kodwa ngisho ukuthi mangine problem because of Transnet. Abantu bakithi abakwazi ukungiblame baze bakhohle ukuthi uTransnet ungaphansi kwi-Ministry of the State-owned enterprises.
Yes.
And they know ukuthi kwenzakalani ngogesi eNingizimu Afrika, they know kwenzakalani ngojantshi bethu and many other issues relating to that. So but I'm hoping ukuthi Transnet will keep to its promise and we are pushing on daily basis really ukuthi beze bazosilungisela basho abazogcina ngokufaka isihlabathi bazofaka nama sandbags. Kodwa nathi we are considering as the city ukuthi sithole ama permanent solutions on that matter. And indawo yethu lene lapha siyakwazi ukuvula ibeach leli elilimalayo manje likhona futhi elinye likhona khona eceleni lapha ya. Siyakwazi nalo ukulivula abalisebenzisa na last year lalisebenza na ngoba sathi masibona ukuthi ivakashe ziningi kakhulu asivula indawo ezimbili. Zonke suke zindawo ama lifeguards, so all systems are in place ukuthi abantu bazobhukuda endaweni esafe. Kodwa siyacela nabo mabefika ngempela bakwazi ukuthi nabo bazivikele ngoba phela ziningi izinto ezenzeka olwandle. Abantu abanye masebejabula bajabula kuze kweke.
Masuke kusukhamisana nokukhotha kwesikhathi.
Asikuqoqozeni phela ukuthi beze bekhothile abantu. Ungazathi bangakhotha mase bengasekho emanzini sebehambile sebebheka emakhaya. Ngoba amanzi amthanda kabi nje umuntu okhothile.
Akuthiwa ngathi impela akrayisana. Ulwandle lezidla akrayisana.
Impela angazi kwenzakala.
I was going to ask, in fact, this is a comment I got from one politician who's from Devon.
Okay.
And then we got the essay Richards Bay. And the comment angela on Richards Bay, how is that maybe by by default, not, I wouldn't say default, lapha igama engasense lapha vele nawe ufice awunakanga, or maybe it's one of the things ekuma key pillars of the city ukuthi no lokhu asikwazi ukwenza eceleni. How do you keep Richards Bay so clean?
Well, umsebenzi kamasipala uqinisekisa ukuthi abantu bakuleyo ndawo baphephile futhi baphilile.
Yeah.
And part of very easy things to do is to make sure that the area is clean.
Yeah.
The environment is clean. Ngiyazi ukuthi akakafinyeleli la isifuna khona Mthiya.
Yeah.
Ikakhulukazi endaweni ye waste management. Okay, what people say is not what I want to see. I want more than what people can see. I've visited so many countries in the world. And the first thing I observe is whether the place is clean or not. And in a place for any tourist or investor, if you end clean, ufuna ukuresearcha more, afuna nama opportunities and so on. Ufuna ukubuya nangolunye usuku, yabona. So ke ngisho ukuthi akakafiki la engifisa khona. Ngifisa ukufinyelela kwi situation la khona ongathola ukuthi even in the rural areas abantu bakithi are aware ukuthi amaphepha, udoti, amabhodlela awalahlwa noma ikuphi. Anendawo ethize la ilahlwa khona. Makukwazi nokuthi ngayo ukudoti lo kungenziwa ngisho umnotho, kwenza umnotho abantu bakwazi ukucosha amathuba. Yes. So ngifisa ukuze kube sifinyelele lapho ke. Zikhona ke inhlelo esinazo noma zingakaqala ukusilekelela kakhulu endaweni ezisemakhaya. Kodwa kubalekile ukusebenzisana namakhosi, ama-ward committees, war rooms and everyone to mobilize ukuthi la kuhlala khona umuntu nalawo kune environment khona. Kufanele ukuthi environment siyivikele. Part of izinto ezi-expose environment to dangers ne-global warming indaba yokungcola esikwenzayo, esikwenza isinoma kanjani, sibulale lonke uhlobo lwezilwane, silahla noma yini. Umuntu ephuzela isiphuzo sakhe sekumnandi asikhiphe ngalo, yabona. You need to desist from that. So ke ngisho ukuthi ke nala esingakayenzi khona kahle, umphakathi wakithi ngiyacela usibekezelele, ikakhulukazi odabeni lwama trucks besihlushwa kakhulu ama truck lawa aqoqa udoti.
Bengisazoza lapha impela because ngaphandle singene udabeni lwama truck mawuqhamuka lapha ngase Altin, imigwaqo ayimakiwe. I wanted to find out ukuthi mhlawumbe u-operation Bokha xa kwenzakalani, what's the story, because iyathusa kokhulu uma ungayazi ibheke, thina ngcono siyayazi siyazi ukuthi kuhamba kanjani.
Okay. Mthiya umgwaqo ikakhulukazi osuka lapha eAlton Robot uze uyofika ejele eMpangeni, akuwona umgwaqo wethu njengomkhandla samhlathuze, umgwaqo ka DOT in the province.
Okay.
Now very slowly we will expose here in the city of Umhlathuze, we will expose ama-services that doesn't belong to us by servicing izinto that belongs to us. So njengoba sikwazi ukubona nje ukuthi khona umgwaqo ongadwetshiwe, is because uyakwazi ukubona khona imigwaqo enjani edwetshiwe. Now le edwetshiwe emaintainwayo eyethu. Le othola ukuthi ayidwetshwa ayimaintainwa uDOT. Umsebenzi wethu njengomasipala ukuthi senze njani, sixhumane nabo ukuthi hayibo umphakathi uyakhala. Mina nje angazi ukuthi sengikhulume I think more than 3 times. Ngoba abantu fortunately majority of the people have my number. I am on the social media. They contact me almost everywhere. And I do respond. Lo yamgwaqo njengoba ukhuluma lecisho ngo-S4 in a space of 4 months or 5 months. Bekhala ukuthi abasebenzi babe ebusuku abakwazi ukubona, akubonakala ngomgwaqo. So I'm really appealing nozakwethu uHlomuka MEC ukuthi ngempela awabuke ama performance indicators e-Department of Transport la eMpangeni, ukuthi ngempela do they keep really infrastructure yabo ngendlela abayireportela ngayo na. And if they are not, he must hold those people accountable ngoba they are exposing our communities in danger. In fact, let me not say they are exposing our communities in danger. They are exposing us who uses these roads on daily basis in danger. Ngolunye usuku imigwaqo uma singayinakekeli nengqalasizinda izoyeka ukulimaza abanye abantu ilimaze thina entrusted with the duty to maintain bazosidabukela abantu ngoba bekuhamba imphefumulo kodwa ukhona ozovukwa umunyu naye ngoba wake walahlekelwa athi awu nabo baze babuzwe nabo baze bakuze lokho esizwayo. But then it would have been ukuthi thina sinalo ithuba lokuthi ngabe senza izaba to maintain. Unfortunately we are not. Just like into kagesi uyekela ugesi ungawulungisi, right? Mase kune load shedding ayikusingle out wena wedwa ukushaya zodi uyeka amanzi ungawalungisi ingqalasizinda if akekho umuntu onamapipe asuka emadanyini amanzi eza kwakhe kuphela now ugcina so affected. So I'm trying to say really we must really serve and take decisions njengabantu abathenjwe umphakathi ama decisions that can stand the test of time, that will be resilient and long lasting. Ngithi ma silapha masithatha inqumo noma ezokufaka infrastructure noma yini ngicela manifaka infrastructure ningafaki infrastructure ezoshesha iphelelwe isikhathi iphelele nje noma after 5 years sengiphumela ukuba umeya ngoba ngizongabi nalo ithuba lokuzobuya
uzolungisa lento
fakani nje into ezohlala noma u50 years ukuze ihlale ikhona nami ngikwazi ukusebenza just like your taxi rank which you are building now. I was making a joke kuma councillor age said to the project lapha empangeni ngithi mina hey ama taxi rank funa swalungise ngoba very soon zizothathwa le moto zika masipala singasabinazo manje the only reliable transportation mode affordable will be in the taxis and bus ranks. Amabhano engesawa afford we can only afford so fanele sizilungiselele nathi ukuthi makungasekho sikwazi ukuthi kube lula kuyalapha
la bashimana washo lo joke le ngayizwa kabili lo joke because wayibeka wathi uma silungisa ama rank sizilungiselela thina kahle kahle. Mina ngitshela ukuthi mashimane mhlambe ukhona lapha ebusinessini lama tekisi kodwa ucashile
hayi lothu umndeni wakithi oyingxenye ngikhulele khona ngiya understand ama dynamics asembonini yezokuthutha ngikhulele khona kodwa hayi mina cha angikabikho ngizophuma nje makwenzeka ke sengingaya ke ngoshaya isalute ngiphathe inkabi nami
ngithi ngathumele lo phambili
hayi impela ngiyibamba impela ngoba ngeke ngayibamba phela nami 3-4 years
but mashimane sesizoligoqa nje ngenxa isikhathi but khona into engifuna ukubuyela kuyona ngisisulu sayo nami la mawubheka umgwaqo osuka enseleni uzongena ku John Ross ubheka la lo ama truck cishe ngabulawa i-truck I think emasontweni amathathu adlule ngihamba la ku Boulevard just before kwavela kwaqhasha nje isondo le truck leza straight to emotweni leso simo because kwathi makufika i-official yafika yathi simfana wayifika yathi wena adufele i-truck nini kuphi so it told me ukuthi hayibo futhi lama truck awekho roadworthy vele and siyabona ke ne traffic ayibangayo uma uqhamuka nje ngo John Ross Highway uqhamuka empangeni ikhona mhlawumbe inhlelo nendlela enizobhekana nayo ngazo.
Okay, angibonga kakhulu. Ngicela uqala nginikeze historical background yendaba yokuthuthwa kwempahla iya kwamanye amazwe through i-port yethu yase-Richards Bay noma isuka kwamanye amazwe iza eSouth Africa through i-port yethu.
Yes.
I-design ye-port yethu akuzange kube ukuthi izinto zizohamba ngemigwaqo. I-design was that zizohamba ngojantshi. That's why mawubuka ojantshi bethu basuka noma ikuphi la basuka khona baze bayongena kuphi e-port. Now uku-underperforma ke kuka Transnet nama state owned enterprises alidwa umhlonishwa uGodani nabanye ongqongqosha abake bawalida uku-underperforma kwawo kufa ojantshi kwenziwa yonke into eyenzekayo kwenza ukuthi ke abantu abafuna ukuhambisa impahla amabhizinisi afuna ukuhambisa impahla through the port whether zize South Africa noma ziya ngaphandle basebenzisa ama truck,
which was option B.
It's option B. Manje ke lento isifica thina njengedolobha lasemhlathuze singakulungele lokho.
Umthamo wama truck.
Umthamo wama truck singawulungele. Kangangokuthi mawungabuka ama traffic officers ethu. Ama traffic officers ethu thina wafika u50 emhlathuze, they are 50 or less. kodwa i-demand yama-truck per day at least ama-truck afika e-Richards Bay makuthiwa khona awu-900 iy'moto zikamasipala uwodwa ungakayibali ezomphakathi omunye zu-800 so kusho ukuthi ungahlanganisa lezo y'moto uhlanganise iy'moto lezi ama-truck you are already sitting at about 1,500 okufanele siwumanage ngalama-officers awu-50 so ama-resources esinawo you know awakwazi ukumitha i-demand for law enforcement especially emgwaqeni yingakho ubona ukuthi isikhathi esiningi usuthi uma uhamba enseleni mhlawumbe imoto ka-traffic uyibone kabili ngenyanga noma kanye ngenyanga uyabona and then lokhu kudala ukuthi we have to withdraw ama-resources amaningi and make sure ukuthi simanage indaba yokuhamba komnotho uya eport ngoba ngeke size sethi futhi nakhona ama-truck awavalwa ngoba ngeke sithi akuvalwe ukuhanjiswa komnotho ngoba nathi sobe siyayilimaza because abasebenzi Transnet abakhokha intela kithi njengomasipala kusho ukuthi bazophelelwa umsebenzi iport yona uqobo isinikeza you know imali ebonakalayo on monthly basis ngokuthengwa kwama services kuthina kusho ukuthi sobe siyazilimaza the best thing we can do is to use ama resources amancane esinawo to actually try and manage but ke i-solution a kind of sustainable on the matter a truck stop ku John Ross lapha nje mawusuka robotini elikhulule ku John Ross usuka Melomed there is a second robot elinomgwaqo yesikhaweni koMadlankala mawudlula lapho nje kancane uza eBay ungakafika eAltin kunebhodi elibhaliwe lapho selikhangisile elibhalwe ukuthi eyamakhosi truck stop soon opening silinde nje i-EIA mthiya i-EIA kayicontrolwa yithi controller umnyango ophethwe ubabuduma kwi-province u-Edsha so ke once basinika nje i-EIA laba ba-appointiweyo emhlabeni owu-15 hectares lapha kuleya ndawo bazongena nje on site basebenze ba-allocate benze i-truck stop engakwazi ukuhlala ama-truck awu-300 remember azobe engazeli ukuzohlala full time azohlala arente afake imali kube nendawo zokugeza kube nendawo zokudayisela
it's a petrol port setup.
Exactly ukuze laba bantu ngoba ngesikhathi bemi lapha emgwaqeni bemi khona for 3 hours usuyayibuza ukuthi osuke ekhishwa isisu wenze njani
asifuni nokwazi ukuthi
exactly so obviously lento eyenzeka igcina ilimaza ne-environment and usuyaqala ukubona uma uhamba ngo-N2 kule area sikhuluma ngayo sekukhona ama structures akhiwe khona ngoba sekuvuke economic activity khona and those areas are not designed ukuthi kwakhiwe khona
ngiyabona
lama structures uyayibona lento engisho so I'm saying we will incorporate all those things kwi truck stop ngaphakathi ukuze abantu laba ngaba bafuna ukuthenga noma bafuna ukugeza or bafuna ukuphumula bakwazi ukuphumula ngaphakathi and then those ones will be running this truck stop njengoba ngisho on behalf of the city ukuze sikwazi ukumanage ukuthi kukwazi ukuhambeka ngoba asikwazi ubeka abantu bakithi engozini sithi ama truck awangene nje sinoma kanjani ngoba siwazama kwamisa ku N2 sizama ukuthi i-industrial area nezibhedlela ezisempangeni nase Richards Bay zinga affected ngoba la empangeni kunezibhedlela at least ezu2 or 3 ama clinic angaphezulu kwalokho kunezibhedlela ezisempangeni uma ungakudedela ama truck umuntu osuke sesalwe u15 minutes afike esibhedlela isengasindi impilo yakhe khona bazohamba bela ku John Ross so ke we sympathize and we are very sorry ukuthi you had to encounter that accident oyisho etruckini and so baningi nabantu abashonile ingane nje kwamthetho lapha ebukhosini bakwamthetho yaphelela khona lapha beyesontweni ku N2 because of the trucks so ke sibonga kuNkulunkulu wena ke wensizwa yonyazi sibonga unyazi ukuthi lokuphephise ukwazi ukusinda siyakubongela ngalokho uNkulunkulu ungathi angaphephisa bonke abantu ngaso sonke isikhathi mabeshayela kwemigwaqo ethu yasemhlathuze
yona into engayishona nami kenzeka ukuthi yazi mina ngisindile kodwa omunye umuntu bengazisinda ngoba ingonze enjengalezi zenzeka but I'm happy with what you just overview osinikeze yona mashimana nokuthi ama plans athini going forward hopefully zonke lezi zinto zozenzeka nje kusikhathini esifishane mashimane before sekuma parting shot abantu abanjengawe abasebancane ngizothi abasebancane ngoba ngokubukeka mhlawumbe ngeminyaka sekonakele
Ngikondele namhlanje, so I look very young.
so abantu abasebancane njenga sike sababona esikhathini esiningi sibajabulele mabethola ama position, but mabeke bafika lapha bayikhohle mandate abanye babo kuqhubeke nje kugcine ngakho ukuthi we are happy that the government is bringing younger people, but masiqhamuka ke ekuthenini now what are you there for? Do you there for people abangangawe or now usukhohliwe usu cruising with whatever osukuyona? Athina ama plans wakho ngentsha nje ngoba ngicabanga ukuthi okuningi abakhulumayo sakuza awufani nabantu ababe youth ngo1975 abasakhuluma njengamanje ngoba usho na office lakhe bafika bezobeke inkinga kuselulu osayi understandayo. Athina ama plan Umhlathuze about intsha yakho?
Okay. You know, there are so many things we are doing for the youth as Umhlathuze, but our main priority really will be about encouraging young people to enter into businesses. And we have lived that because there are so many young people who are doing something in the streets, selling or rather producing and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But the problem is those who may be potential funders, they need very big documents to assist in the funding.
True.
And abantu bakithi abasha ngisho nalabo abantu basemabhizinisini mhlawumbe ibhizinisi abalenzayo is entertainment. They are not in the mainstream business where mhlawumbe you can talk about food production, mhlawumbe clothing and so on and so forth. They are actually too far from that. Base business in the entertainment and so on and so forth. Now, little business more our rate, especially level 5 or level 6. Now, with transportation, level 5 or 6. Now, we want to encourage abantu abasha ukuthi bangene eyintweni ezingama first levels of the economy, like your food production. You know, I read an article somewhere around last year. Ikhuluma ngendaba ukuthi the next billionaires of this world will come from the Department of Agriculture. Ngoba ezolimo ne-farming uproducer nje ukudla kwenza ukuthi isitha sakho mawuyisitha sami mthe kwenza ukuthi mawuphethe ukudla ngikubuke ngelinye iso. Yingakho uthola ukuthi ngisho laba ababazonda with passion abantu abamhlophe njengoba besengxenye kakhulukazi yezolimo nasengxenye engasekuqaleni komnotho, kodwa babazonda bababuke kancane ngezilinyiso mase bephethe ukudla because bangena la
asikwazi ukubathinta siphila ngapha.
Exactly. So ke encourage kakhulu ke kubantu bakithi ukuthi abangene kakhulukazi emkhakheni wezolimo. We are there to support them. Of course we can't support all of them, but labe sokwazi ukuba support. We have also ensured ukuthi la Umhlathuze sisiza youth more than 200 ukuthi subsidize ngama business items abasebenza ngawo. That project has been successful, and I'm quite very excited. Siya encourage youth ukuthi ihambe ikoleni. Very soon we'll advertise for bursaries for 120 young people bahambe ufunda in my universities. And good. Basically majority of those are your poor people, and we ensure ukuthi lokho kuyakwazi ukuthi kwenzeke. And ngiyacela ukuthi intsha yakithi ifunde kakhulu kunakuqala. Even though our economy is growing at less than 6%, but at a particular point and the systems were put in here in the city of Umhlathuze, we will have an investment that is booming. And when that time comes, it must find them ready. We are now in the discussion with the IDZ now. Whether umuntu is a graduate, kodwa ama graduate reality amanye ahlezi emakhaya because they are not easily absorbed by the economy. Now our area is an industrial area. Uma kunama graduates amaningi akhona, ngenza example i-graduate ebelenza education, kukancane ukuthi an industry ingathatha umuntu ozoba noma umuntu one qualification ya education because aka-qualified on matters of electronics and so on. So where possible, let's look at ukuthi laba abantu laba abama unemployed graduates bafundele ini imapha ama opportunities azoba khona in the future and then ke siba riskile ukuthi bathi meet the demands of rather the job market. But also ngiyanxusa, I spoke about a mall that is going to absorb about 1,200 people upon completion. Asiphumeni kwi-mentality as South Africans yokuthi njengoba ngafundela ukuba uthisha awukho omunye umsebenzi engingawenza. Let's go out of that.
That attitude is very
you know, mangise restaurant ngizwe umuntu engikhulumisa ngesizulu nje noma ngesingisi engisizwayo ukuthi hayi lesi akusona somuntu wase South Africa. Ngiyambuza ukuthi where are you coming from? And when someone says no, I come from Zimbabwe. Oh, but I'll realize that this English is far better than mine. Then I say, oh, what's your level of qualification? No, I've got honors in hospitality management and so on, or I've got masters and so on and so on. Then I say, okay, I've got a masters in civil engineering, but I'm a waiter or waitress. Now, a South African civil or mechanical engineering graduate in South Africa will not go and become a waiter or waitress because of the attitude issue. But will gladly go and request a grant. I'm not saying that is wrong if the opportunity ngekho, but I'm saying take what is available, provided it gives you some sort of income. You wait somewhere because half of something is better than nothing. Linda somewhere.
Mashimane ulanda kude wena makhuma ngegraduate. Sometimes people with matric akafuna ukwenza something ubona ngathi imbukisela naphansi nesithunzi. And more often than not, when you tell these people, do you know what some of us had to be gardeners after matric? And it's a wrong attitude. Sometimes when we tell people, it's like we are judging, or it's because where we are. But Momjet, for me to be where I am, I need to start at somewhere. And we have even on social media when the kind of profiles were Banban CEO of Banban, like what? So CEO?
Let me tell you something. I mean, I always say when things doesn't go according to my own planning, there is no work I cannot do.
True.
Because the moment uvumela ukuthi kunemsebenzi engcono, kunemsebenzi ebad, and then ebad you cannot do them, uzoshawa i-depression. Umqondo ovuka ekseni ubalisa ngokuthi fanele ngabe ngi-achieve ukuthi nokuthi ugcina u-affected. So take whatever is available. Those job opportunities, I so wish lawazovuleka makwakhiwa lama malls esikhuluma ngawo. Our unemployed graduates can take them and we will engage them towards completion. We will call them and engage them and say, you can't be educated ngemali ka-NSFAS tax esikhokhayo thina. Mase niphumile when you can't take umsebenzi oholela less than 5,000 or less than 6,000 rand. But you can gladly take 350 rand. It can't be. It can't be. Go out, get economically active, and then while you are there, you know, I was engaging with a lady who was doing, I think, cost management, financial or whatever cost, they call it cost management. I was in the qualification, but that lady got umsebenzi a Pick n Pay here in Richards Bay. Unaleyo qualification wasebenza le wayezocleaner la. Waphuma iposition ngaphakathi la. And then she applied. She was taken. Now she is a manager of the branch of Pick n Pay in Pretoria. You see?
Think about it.
But she started very low.
Somewhere.
Somebody who owns Pick n Pay today, mombuza uthi, how did you become this? Uthi ngaqala ukudayisa ngiphusha ibhala.
No, abanye bazothetha babe pushing inqola zase Pick n Pay.
Exactly. You know,
look at them now.
Exactly. Wena nje mthiye, wena yourself.
Yes.
If ngolunye usuku you can tell the people where do you come from. People who know you before. Running these shows, umkhokha, working for Ikakas and so on. They will think that probably you were born and kwakhona awukazi uzudlule kuma hardships, you know.
Bengisebenza la eBreckenham. Ngisebenza la eMajadi nakhona.
Yeah.
Graduate lapho buya ko Merency usungcono ngengadi la.
Yeah.
And then part of the boys about Shimonto la Richards Bay amphitheater bekunamanzi la. Besiwasha khona. Ngama weekend masibuye esikoleni besiwasha khona. Some of them they're still there. Ngiyangibabone esasiwasha nabo when we were still in high school. And I often tell my kids that story. They think I'm making stories.
You know,
you
know, Mina, I was born in Mangos, as you know.
Yeah.
Ekhaya kithi, you will not think ukuthi ungaqhamuka umuntu who is this now.
Yeah.
Because of its ruralness.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But you know, I don't know nami ukuthi kwenza kanjani noma umusa kaNkulunkulu nokukhula uhlupheka. Mina ngangivuka ebusuku nobaba nomama sihambe siyolima. Ngo1992 siyolima ngegeje lezandla ebusuku uma unyezula. Sihambe siyolima ebusuku ekseni ngo5 sihlukane umama ahambe athwala icase la lika drink nama apple bayodayisa nobaba ephelele umsebenzi babe egoli. Sakhula ke under that siluse inkomo before ngiye esikoleni mina ngangiqala ngiye dibha makule lesibili hambe siyinkomo ngivuke ngo3 ngihambe siyinkomo, you know. Ngoba ngithi ngangayibamba ngisho inkabi ngiyayazi, you know, mina ngangabi nakho ukuzibukela phansi ukuthi ngoba sengifunde euniversity uma ngisekhaya kulwesihlanu angisakwazi ukuhamba nobaba
uhamba ne-laptop egcekeni
ngiyoconductela event lapha esasithi masiphume nangiphuma ngihambe ngebhasi lelibomvu lagcinishile ibhasi elinekhanda letruck lisuke eThekwini. Ngangigibela lelo bhasi ma kuvala ikole la ngishona ekhaya makulwesihlanu. Abanye bethu babegibela baqale bayojika eThekwini ukuze bezobuya nge-country cruiser. Babe ngifica mina sengisekhaya sengilindele ukubathwalela imithwalo sibacharge imali ye-transport. So we grew up really sinale mentality yokuba small safundisa ukuzisebenza and so on and so forth. So I'm asking everybody who is a graduate to say uma kunomuntu othi la endaweni ngakini ungawasha ngisho imigqomo engekho umuntu oyiwashayo. Abantu bawashela imigqomo kwisigcina sakini bazokunika 100 rand umuzi ngenyanga. Uma uwashela imizi ewu10 that is 1,000 rand. Uma uwashela imizi ewu100 that is 10,000 rand. 100 houses.
You can start now.
You can start now earning your 10,000 rand ngokuwasha imigqomo ngalapha. Akukho la uzohlephuka khona, imali yonke iyafana. Imali yami njengoba engiholayo masiyothenga esitolo. Isinkwa ayikho futhi ngoba wena umeya imali yakho ke isinkwa sosikhuphula kakhulu. Noma wena ngoba wena usebenza ngokuwasha imigqomo wena cha sizothi ukuchacha kancane.
Iyafana imali.
Imali kaplamba iyafana ivalue yakho iyafana yonke. You know, okubalekile ukuthi sonke sikwazi ukuphila siye phambili. Silinde ukukhuliswa komnotho but silindela on top of something. But I'm happy with the attitude I'm seeing here in Umhlathuze. You know, ngake ngabuza ku CM ukuthi CM uma si advertise ama positions nje ama general worker positions. Obani kakhulu aba applyayo. And he told me ukuthi you know you'll be surprised. With people with honors degrees, diplomas, they apply for general worker positions. And I'm saying they must not stop with that attitude.
Very good.
That attitude is a very good attitude. Our brothers from across the SADC region and as far as Central Africa who are here in the country, they are making a lot of money with qualifications. Aba now, ukusigundela utshani, ukusigunda amakhanda, thina esigundayo.
Basevise yonke lento esithatha kancane. Basakhela izindlu. Bafakele amakhabethe. Besenzele all these things that esingazenza thina but ayingeke ngiyofakana namakhabethe emzini yongwezi ozongibuka athini. All the thing. Ngiyabonga kakhulu Mashimane, but before I go, parting shot now. If I was playing golf with you, I was going to say this is our parting shot. Because ngiyayithanda, maybe one day sizoyidlala. Now, angibuze lo mbuzo lo. Do you think IFP izosthatha isifundazwe ngo-2024? Is that something you think, or is something that you know, or you're not sure?
Okay, let me say that I think the IFP will take over KwaZulu-Natal next year.
A straight take or a coalition government?
Well, I know you are asking me that question after I've responded that way, because there are
Yeah.
surveys that have been done by different people already, which are, I
Yeah.
know you've seen them. I
Yes.
know you're a clued up person.
Yeah.
But you know, when I'm looking at the surveys versus what I'm seeing on the ground,
Yeah.
I think that it won't be probably a coalition. It will be a straight takeover.
Yeah.
But in case we fail, I know our party will be willing to work with anyone who will be willing to say that let's form a government. So we are working hard to take over.
Yeah.
But in case we don't take over, we will take over through a coalition government.
And what is one thing that you think the ANC ishayeke lapha? That's just one thing. I know people can count in nqwaba ezinto ukuthi asibona ukuthi, but wena Mashimane ungakhulumeli ukhuluma nje uthi cha mina ngokubona kwami naphi lapha shaya.
Corruption and failure to hold those who are alleged or found to be corrupt accountable, instead reshuffling them.
And you think the IFP ngeke fall into the same trap?
Can you ask the question
The
again?
IFP ngokubona kwakho ngeke fall into the same trap?
Well, in the IFP, it has always been the case. Any suspected corruptive practices are dealt with, severely. Ukuganga nje ngomsebenzi uyashesha ukuthathelwa inyathelo. Baningi abantu esiqale nabo. They were held accountable for certain actions, although it was not actions of corruption, but other issues that would have probably a negative impact on the work they are performing as mayors, deputy mayors, speakers, or even as councillors, or as ordinary members of the IFP. So I have no doubt that the IFP will never, in fact, the day the IFP will stop being hard on corruption and holding people accountable, we would have lost one of the values of the IFP and the founder of the IFP, who led with integrity from the time when he took over the KwaZulu government in 1970 until his last day, the 9th of September. Was never suspected of corruption. So the day we neglect that historical issue, the IFP will lose touch with the voters.
I know that umntwana kaPhindangeni ube kakhulu enhlizweni yakhe ngaphandle kumamholi weqembu oseva kulona, but ube mentor yakho as well. How does ukudlula kwakhe emhlabeni affected maybe you personally and the party ngobona kwakho?
Well, personally, you will know Mthia ngoba ngithi ngizalwe eMangozi ukuthi umntwana defended the area of Ngwavumu, not to be under Swaziland, or rather under Eswatini, now known as Eswatini.
Konje vele demarcation yayifaka ngaphakathi eSwatini.
Of course, yayisifaka ngaphakathi eSwazini. And umntwana defended that, and we thank him for that. It was for the first time that the apartheid government was challenged by a black person in the Constitutional Court. And the apartheid government lost. That is historical.
Very good.
So we will remember Umtwana for that, other than the schools he built in that area where I come from, which I studied, I did my primary and high school education at, the University of Zululand, which he built in conjunction with Amakhosi, the building of Mangosuthu, and many other 6,000 classrooms. And by the way, personally, Umtwana attended my wedding, and he addressed the wedding in 2017. And that video, my kids know Umtwana personally. My family knows Umtwana personally. So we'll never forget Umtwana for that. He has been a father to us. When I could not finish my degree in 2007, I wrote to Umtwana, and Umtwana gave me a check of 13,500 rand to go and complete my Bachelor of Education in Maths and Science. So even this qualification I'm talking about, I owe it to him. And later, I was elected in the National Council. I've since served in the National Council from 2012 to date. Later elected as chair in this area, led campaigns here. And when I led the campaigns here, I never had something that says I'm going to be the mayor. Actually, I was seeing someone else. Such that when the party consulted me to say, now that we'll be forming a coalition government, I was still in parliament. Who do you think can be the mayor, speaker, and so on? We just want your view, you know. And then I proposed, you know.
Not yourself?
No, I proposed Mr. Gumede, the speaker, you know, to say, I think he can make a very good mayor of a coalition government. You know, I know he's been a principal for more than 20 years. You know, he's very smart, Gumede. So the experience as a councillor for more than 10 years, 15 years actually. So I knew he would do it. He has served here as a councillor in the Expo. So I was looking at all those things and so on.
Not knowing it's you.
No, well done for other positions, but you know, I'm saying the one whom I was.
No, I'm just saying what you doing all these recommendations. I was to
well, I didn't know. I was very comfortable to be in Cape Town, really. I was very comfortable. I thought I was doing kind of very good contributions in Parliament, representing my community on the issues of water, human settlement. In fact, many projects here that are starting to move on human settlement is because when I was that side, I was able to raise issues. Even water projects. You can go and look at my statements, debate statements in Parliament. You will always know I was talking about issues that affect the community of the state of Umhlathuze, and more especially KwaZulu-Natal. Most of my debates, they were like that. So, yeah. And, you know, politically, of course, we have never imagined, Mtia, that there will be a time where we will be left to lead the party without Mntwana. I knew with knowledge that no one is immortal. True. But I had never wanted to live while Mntwana was alive, to live a life that imagines how things would be uma Mntwana engasekho phakathi kwethu esenathi ngokwespirit. And then obviously it's not an easy thing. You know, each time when we have a national council and somebody says Shane, because there are so many utilities, then says Shane, the first person that comes into my mind is Mntwana. Yes. And then later, after 5 seconds, and they are referring to this Shane and not. Yeah. So, but I must say that I'm encouraged by the fact that Mntwana uzalwa kwakhe wazalwa nge-arrangement yasemazulwini. So kune task abeyibekelwe uMntwana. Part of it traditionally to serve 3 kings. Part of it politically to play a significant role in the liberation of South Africa. Njengoba was ngo-1994, the late Mr. de Klerk spoke about 2 things when he was announcing democracy. He spoke about the release of Dr. Mandela, and that was it, that he will be releasing Dr. Mandela and other political prisoners. Yes. But he said about Mntwana, it is none other than anyone who have convinced me to come to the decision of a free South Africa. Ethi uMntwana uma ngosothi ubuthelezi omsize ukufinyelela lapho. So ngoba wayilokho eyiphe ikhathi eziningi.
It can't get any better than that.
You know, so
this is the best.
Yeah, so I'm saying uMntwana wayezalelwe lokho, we are motivated by that. And if you read in the Bible, the story of Moses is not as different as the story of umntwana. Beyayi umntwana mayikhuluma sengimuzwa ngathi unamalimi ngithi konje Moses was a stammerer. Uma uNkulunkulu emthuma ethi go and free my people from Egypt. He says but God I'm a stammerer. Uthi ngifuna wena impela. Namalimi akho ngifuna wena impela ngifuna umelusi I want a shepherd. Exactly. Because uzokwazi ukwenza lo msebenzi ama shepherd ayalalela. Umntwana has listened to God in his journey of the service of the nation. He has always done that. So we'll always be reminded of that to say that even Moses had a particular journey to travel with the Israelites. Yes. And then Joshua was given the task to lead us to the promised land. So I'm thinking that those that are left leading us, especially senior than us, God will give wisdom nomntwana uzoba nathi in spirit to make sure that we are always united. We always stand for that which he lived for, which is actually to serve.
And serving.
In fact, our principles is to serve the people of South Africa in the spirit of ubuntu botho. Ubuntu botho. So in whatever I do in serving the people, is this service that I've given to the people enough? Am I happy about it? Is it in the spirit of Ubuntu?
So before we judge you, you judge yourself.
I look at that. That's why I'm saying, masifaka ipipe, asikwazi ukufaka ipipe elizoqhuma after 5 years. Ngoba sifuna ukuthi maseliqhumile
another 30 years.
Ngoba sifuna maseliqhumile kuba abangani bethu abazo provide solution. We don't want to alifakwe ukuze kuqhutshekele kwamanye ama service delivery items okungakafinyelelwa kuwona ngoba nemali ezweni ayikho njengoba umnotho ungakhuli. I-demand yakhuphuka, omasipala nohulumeni banama budget cuts in almost all the departments. So whatever we do, we must do quality so that we know we have traveled ngeke siphinde sibuye sibe nenkinga.
Mashman, ngiyabonga kakhulu mfowethu ngoba nesikhathi sakho. Looking forward to ukuthi sizwe abantu bathina about this podcast, but I enjoyed it. Ngiyabonga kakhulu.
Siyathokoza kakhulu Mthiya. May your podcast grow.
Yeah.
Igcinise inkulu nje impela. Mhlawumbe ugcinise unane TV.
No, aside with TV, podcast yona.
Okay, thank you. Uyabona mina I'm taking you back. Umuntu primitive. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Podcast with Kini Shandu. You can follow us on YouTube and make sure that you subscribe so that uzothola zonke lezi nkulumo nezintsha futhi ezinye ongasoyithola. Amen.